Car got stolen. Then I didn't have no money. I was trying to apply to jobs. It wasn't clicking. And at that point, it was like, damn, you know what I mean? Like, my back was against the wall. And these are the moments in my life where I realized what perseverance meant. Like, I could go back to school right now and get my doctor's degree. After that, there's no turning back.
I learned that I ain't perfect, but God gave me a purpose. I'm worth it, cause I know He chose me. I'm alright now.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Purpose Over Everything, where we plant, pour, and push you into purpose. My name is Q, and I have an amazing person with me right now. I just want you to introduce yourself because you just do like a million things. So just introduce yourself real quick.
My name is Ramel. Some of y'all know me as Showtime. Some of y'all know me as Ramel Showtime, Mr. Nealy. It's a lot of different titles out there, man. But Rav, you cool. You know what I mean?
Listen, I'm so happy that you're on here, man, that you took the time to be here. We got a lot of history, bro.
Man, this is like, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy you're doing your thing. You're always doing your thing. So that's how I go.
So, real quick, let me just tell y'all, this is my first cousin. All right, we've been doing this for years. I'm talking about making burgers at my mother's house in Frank's
You put me on.
to making hits on a yacht, right? Like we've been doing this for so long, and for us to be able to come together like this is amazing, man. So the first question I want to ask you is, you got this nice hat on, and it says "Teach in full effect." What does that mean to you?
Shout out to Miss Mosby, one of my colleagues. Her brother makes hats, apparel, a lot of stuff. Shout out to Cosign. This her brand, and she gave it to me before she put it out. And the reason why I'm wearing it is because, like, when she gave it to me, she was like, "Yo, you remind me of, my message of teaching full effect." Like, she seen me, teach before. She seen me be a dean before as well. So she when it comes down to the youth, I take it very serious. Every day I come in, to my role as a teacher, I don't never have 90%, 80, 60. I come in there 100% every day. I barely even miss days, you know what I mean? I got the perfect attendance award a few times, and that's like as a educator, you know what I mean? And that's just what it is, I understand my purpose, I understand my role. So when I'm doing it, I'm going to do it in full effect.
Man, I love that. And you said a lot of things. You spoke about purpose, and this is purpose over everything.
Exactly.
So we got to get into it. But before we get into that, you said you're a teacher.
Yes, sir.
So talk about that a little bit. What do you teach?
I taught 5th grade, 6th grade, and 7th grade math. I've been teaching for 10 years. I'm a part of a amazing program called Teach for America. I didn't really start out wanting to be a teacher. A lot of people always want to hear that story from me. So I'll go into that. When I went away to school, I was a criminal justice major. Okay. And it was one of my guidance counselors. She was just telling me, like, yo, I think you should really be a teacher. And I was like, a teacher? The way I grew up, I didn't really have a good time in school. Educationally, yeah, but with the teachers and all that, I always had a rough time. So I never really thought about being a teacher, but she was real adamant about me doing this. And I was like, why do you think I should be a teacher? I was on the road to being a state trooper, actually. And for me, I don't even know what I wanted to do. I just knew that I needed to do something, so I was just picking whatever I thought was going to be, a cool thing to do. And for me, studying law and criminal justice, the state troopers that came to my class one day, and I was just like, yo, they was talking about 70,000 as soon as you come out. So I was just looking at that like, man, you sold me. So I took the exam, studied for it, and I actually scored a 99 on the exam. So that's exactly what I was about to do until she came in and she was like, yo, I think that's what you should be doing. So I went on the interview just to, like, in case I don't want to actually go forth with being in law enforcement, because I was kind of nervous about that. I was like, I don't know if I really could do this, especially when I seen I had a 99 on the exam. I'm like, yo, this is real.
Okay.
I'm like 22 years old. I know this is coming. So I went on the interview, and the same thing happened. Like, I was playing around. They gave me a little lesson plan, math demo, studied it, and I was teaching it to them, but I'm having fun with it. The people that's interviewing with me is pretending to be students. But I got them laughing, learning, doing all that. And then the ladies was like, look, you're a natural. You ain't even got to go through the rest of it. Take this job if you want it. You could teach wherever you want, pick a state. And I'm like, oh, well, you know what I mean? Pick a state. I chose Miami. I'm like, I'm out of here. Number one choice was for me to go to Miami. And I was like, okay, I changed my whole career if they send me to Miami. Long story short, they said you should teach in New York. I was mad. I'm like, New York? Like, I don't want to come back to the city. If I'm going to do this, I want to go away. And the same thing. They was in the interview like, look, if you do this, it's not that many black male educators. Like, and these are, I'm gonna come clean. These are white people telling me this. Like, there's not that many, black males in education and the way, you do your thing. I think you should really take this opportunity. So this is the second time I'm about to say no. But I'm looking at these people telling me again, yo, you should do this. So I'm like, all right, now graduation day is coming. State troopers is like, yo, what you want to do, man? We got this agility test, everything ready for you. And then I have this opportunity too. So I end up teaching. Wow. And now we fast forward, it's 10 years later. And
hold on. Wait. Slow down. So you said 10 years being a teacher?
Yeah, man, it's 10 years
A black
now.
male teacher, 10 years.
Yeah.
We got to give you your flowers for that, man. And this job was something you didn't even plan.
But see, now, purpose over everything, we could get into that. Because now I see why they was all saying, that, you should do this, you should do that. Because it's like, I've had a lot of students pass the state test. I've had students that could never do math. Now they could do math. I've had students in shelter, foster care, like changing their life around because of things that I've told them. It's like purpose over everything. This is really what it was. And I'm like, oh, okay. Now I can look back and I understand why those people was there to tell me like, yo, do this. This is what it is. They was already, ordained to come into my life, I feel like, to let me know this is a pathway you was chosen for. And if you do this, and then now we could talk music, we could all the other stuff that end up at podcasts through me doing this. I don't think it would ever happen if I would have became state troop. I'm on the highway with the crazy hat on, like giving out speeding tickets and all that. I don't think that was what it was.
So the root was teaching, and then it birthed so many other things.
Still.
Now, let's go back a little bit, right? Let's go back to the genesis. Let's go back to your genesis, which just means the beginning. So let's go all the way back to the beginning before you became this 10-year math, perfect attendance teacher.
Still shocked.
Who were you growing up?
I feel like growing up, I was always kind of like a product of my story and my environment.
Okay.
So, like, when I was young, my mother, she grew up in Harlem, St. Nick Project, shout out to St. Nick. And then my father grew up in East New York. So I feel like my story was already going to be unique. I got East New York mixed with Harlem. They both was hip-hop dancers.
Okay.
So they had met doing a show at the Apollo. And they started doing their thing, and voila, I'm here in 1991. Okay. And when I was in third grade, unfortunately, my father got shot and killed. And from there, I feel like that's when the journey begun. Like, I started to get in trouble in school and things like that. I started to question a lot of things. And then I started to also just smell myself. Like, I felt like I had a story now. Like, I started to see things for what it was a little bit more. I started to grow up a little bit faster than I needed to. And that's where I just started just doing whatever I wanted. My attitude got a little cocky and bad, I would say. And I got kicked out and expelled from a lot of schools.
How many times?
Third grade, the sixth grade.
Dang.
And then 11th grade in high school, I got expelled from school too.
3 times.
Yeah.
It had to be something in you that kept you going. So even though you was expelled and you was, in between these two different lives and East New York, Harlem, all these different things, like what kept you still going and pursuing whatever it was at the time?
I always had good grades. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I always was like a 90 and above type of student.
Okay.
And I feel like that's what made me, even right now as a teacher, I think it's the same shining light that's on me, because even though I had the worst attitude, or I was the class clown and I played around a lot, I was definitely the guy that you could look to in the class, like, he gonna make sure today is a good day. Like, he gonna say what he want, do what he want. So, but the teachers always couldn't put they couldn't really say nothing, because it was like when that test came back, when they handed it out, 99, 80, state tests, 3s, 4s, like no summer school, no being held back. None of that. It was always just good grades. Like, when I got kicked out of high school, they wrote me a recommendation letter so I could get into another good school. It was like, yo, we don't want him, but please, man, take him, because he has potential, So in the back of my mind, that always kept me pushing. Like, I know if you give me a task, I can get it done. It don't matter what it is, whether it's passing class, passing college, masters, putting the toilet back together. Like, just tell me what to do, and I can make sure it's done.
What did you need growing up? So I know you said you lost your dad at a young age. How old were you?
8. I was 8 years old.
So you was 8 years old. So you was trying to navigate through life without a father, and so you just had your mom.
Yeah, my mom. But I ain't gonna lie, I would say I definitely had a lot of support. Like, the village was definitely there. Like, my uncles on my mother's side, they showed love. My aunties on my mother's side, my aunties on my father's side, my grandfather. Like, everybody was there. So it wasn't like I was just out here like, who's my father and what happened? Like, no, it was a million people told me the story, what it was, every side. So I still had what I needed to. You know what I mean? Like, I miss my pops, and I went through those stages of, like, looking at everything that was going on in the streets, like, yo, this is it. But it was a lot of people that was there for me also.
So is that one of the reasons why you went the other way? Because you could have went the street way, but you went the right way. So
Yeah.
is that one of the reasons why you went the right way?
I would say also, on top of that, it was a lot of, like, I did have a lot of mentors in my life that kind of already told me what it was. Like, shout out to Poppy. He already told me what it was, what he went through as far as growing up. My uncle, or both of my uncles, they always talked to me about the streets and what that could come with. And then my mom's had, like, a ex-boyfriend who took care of me when my father passed away. And then he ended up getting sentenced to 25 years in prison. And throughout my life, I used to go visit him too. So he used to be telling me all the time, like, showing me kids 19, 20 years old in the feds and bringing them to me to, like, ask them a question.
There's people who have access to that. They know, that these things are happening, but they decide to do they repeat the same exact thing. So what made you not repeat it? Because I know you say you had people around you, but what made you not repeat the same thing? What was in you that made you say, I'm just not going to do it?
And this is actually a gem that I try to pass to a lot of the youth out there. It was like, I'm a good listener, honestly. So it's like, if you tell me something, I'm gonna 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna believe you and I'm gonna take your word for it. So I feel like I don't know where that came from, though, to tell you the truth. But it's like, if you tell me, like, yo, you go that way over there, there's some dudes over there, they look a little funny. And I'm gonna be like, all right, my people's like, yo, let's walk this way. I'm like, nah, my cousin told me there's some dudes over there, so let's just, you don't really gotta tell me multiple times. And I don't even know why it seemed like something cliche. Because I'm just listening to what people told me. Like, they told me, yo, if you go on the streets and you end up, people get shot, people get killed, like, yo, your father's situation. They told me what happened, so I'm like, this is just what it is. So by the time my chance to get into it came, I'm like, oh, nah, everybody told me, nah, you could. Like, it was dudes that offered me different things. You want to do this? Gangs. I was in the heart of gang culture, and, yo, I was cool. So everybody always was like, yo, you should join us. And I'm like, nah, I don't want to front on you, but I didn't tell them that in the moment, but I knew what it was. So I was just like, nah, I'm all right. But whatever I had to do, you know what I mean? If people was in a situation and I was around, I knew I had to help out, things like that. But I knew that I'm not getting 100% into none of that stuff. Like, I just got to figure out how I could win. That's all I was trying to do. Like, I did after school programs. I worked summer youth. Anything I needed to do that looked like something that I could, make some money or just get myself busy, I was down with it. I played basketball, everything.
You giving us a lot right now. In order for you to not become a product of your environment, you got to be a good listener. You got to be able to listen and follow instructions.
Because people going to pour into you.
And then you also, something else that you said was you got to keep yourself active with positive things.
Yep.
So you're talking about basketball, you're talking about getting into after-school programs and different things like that.
Some youth jobs.
So I just want to stop real quick. If you're the person who feels like you have to be a product of your environment, you can look at this man right here and see that you don't have to be that way, right? You don't need to be a part of the streets. You don't need to, accept the life that you think you've been given. Because if you listen to the positive around you, if you surround yourself with things that could keep you busy, positive things, you can become just like this guy right here. And I just want to ask you real quick, have you ever been in a situation where you felt like, you know what, I might as well do the negative because this ain't working for me? Did you ever have you ever been in that type of situation, and how did you overcome it?
Yeah, in college, I ain't gonna lie, I was a point in college where my car got stolen, and I had to go back to school. I lived off campus already, and I ain't have nothing. I'm already mad my car got stolen. Then I ain't have no money. I was trying to apply to jobs. It wasn't clicking. And at that point, it was like, dang, you know what I mean? Like, my back was against the wall, and those thoughts started coming back again. Like, I'm not trying to be out here, no car, no money in my pocket. Like, I couldn't see what was about to, happen in the next couple of years with, getting a degree and stuff like that. It was just in the moment. I needed things like my couldn't, my mom at the time. I'm asking for $700, $800. Come on, 20 years old trying to ask for an $800 coat. We not doing that. So it was just a rough time, and yeah. So I went through it, but what got me through it was just I still kept pushing. So I feel like these are the moments in my life where I realized what perseverance meant.
Okay.
Like even though things is getting bad, like just try. So I kept applying to different jobs, and I end up a program from New York City hired me to be like a mentor on campus, which I ain't even have to put too much time into. And then I end up getting a gym position at a private school.
Okay.
And then the money went crazy.
Okay.
And then I bought a BMW, and then it got like, hold on, it's a lot of people, but that's what I'm saying. Like I definitely think God like had a good time with me, like taking me through stuff, but I still keep pushing. I didn't do nothing negative at that time. I went through my struggle. I was broke, you know what I mean? Shout out to my lady, my wife here right now, because even through that, it was like I got a couple dollars, you could get something to eat. Like she held me down, and I just kept going. I just went through it, like went through the fire, and I kept applying to different things. And when I got it, both came at the same time. So now I went from not having nothing to two jobs that's paying like, a good money for a 19-year-old at the time, was 20 years old, and then it was double. And then that's what I'm saying. Then a BMW came, and now I'm the only dude on campus with the foreign car now. So it's like, here we go again, back on top.
So now you go from being
I'm on a
broke.
bus with hobos, like drug addicts, getting from campus. It's Buffalo. It's like -10. It's cold. I'm on the bus waiting. Like, it got crazy.
So you go from being broke, being cold, just feeling like a little lost, to just now you up. And that stage while you up now, what's going on in your head? Are you just like, there is a God?
Yep.
Like, what's happening now when you up?
After that, there was no turning back. Like, that's when I knew, like, yo, hustle to the, you know what I mean? If I had a theme song right now, I hear like Ace Hood, hustle hard. Like, all we do is win, DJ Khaled, because that's when a light bulb went off. Like, yo, you different. Like, whatever you want to do, you going to get it done. Wow. Now just keep going, like what you want. And then I just was, all right, cool. And that's where the State Trooper and all that came from, because I knew the power of the mind. I started to realize what that was about. Like, okay, if I set my mind on something, I'm going to get it done. And I already went through all the struggles. I told you about the, getting kicked out of schools and all that. So by that time, it was like, okay, I'm unstoppable. Just stay focused, pick what you want, grind it out, and the blessings are going to come. And that was it. Cool. So from there, I started having fun with it.
So what do you say to that young guy right now that's struggling, and he's going through so much? His story is not looking good right now, and he's messed up. Like, what do you tell him in this moment? Because he's real low right now. So what do you say to him?
You already got it. And the fact that you got a story, oh, man, you should thank God right now, because it's like your story is what's going to make this thing, like, special. So take whatever you're going through, and then I just choose to do the right thing, choose to, like, figure it out, Like, it's a lot of things to do. Even though we go through things, there's so many things you can do to, like, overcome whatever you're going through. Literally, all you have to do is just choose to do it. And that's all I've done.
Give me 3 things that they would need in order for them to push forward.
A positive mind.
Positive mind.
Like, just think positive. Even through the bad, think positive.
Okay.
2, perseverance.
Okay.
Like, when things get hard, you just got to push through. Everybody go through things, even like the rich, anybody, like the person that you look up to personally. You can ask them. They went through something too. And that's the person you idolize. So just persevere. When it get hard, just keep going. That's all. And then the 3rd thing you would need is a love of learning. You know what I mean? If you love learning, you're unstoppable. It's books, it's podcasts, it's movies, it's everything. It's people in your family. there's so many ways to learn. Like if you really, really want to, just if you fall in love with learning, you got it. Like I could go back to school right now and get my doctor's degree, just because.
So currently, what do you have right now?
I got my master's,
Okay, so you got your master's, your
my
bachelor's.
bachelor's, and high school diploma.
Wow.
All three.
And going to school, you said you got kicked out of college?
Oh yeah, I didn't even mention that.
Nah, you said something about college, right? I think you said something about college, but
They stole my car
okay.
when I was in college.
Okay.
Yeah, but I went through a college phase too. Like I went through that.
You got kicked out? Or?
Yeah. Like I'm listening.
Wait. So when
now
I
me and
asked
Poppy
you-
was talking earlier, and I'm like, yo, there's some things you shouldn't tell everybody. You gotta pay for this story. But I give you that. I definitely went through it too in college. Like I'd be embarrassed, as you can tell. Still, you'd be like, yo, I didn't even get it together when I first got to college because I was like, my birthday in November, so I went to college at 17 years old, and my mindset when I got there, the dorm room, you know what I mean? Like I finally got my own space. Like I just thought it was time to turn up. Honestly, like
Yeah.
we ain't got nothing. You know, parents is not here. I'm looking like, yo, where the shorties at? Like, you know what I mean? I'm the one that got my speaker loud. They coming knocking on the door. Turn it down. I'm looking at them. Man, we in college. You'll get out of here. I ain't have enough discipline when I first got there.
So you just added something to the story now. So
I told you we could go 2 hours, man.
wait a minute. So you said you in elementary, third grade, 6th grade,
Yep.
11th grade, college, kicked out 4 times. But then you said
Came back.
came back, bachelor's, master's, teacher for 10 years, BMW.
Yeah.
Who are you? So do you show up like this in the classroom, or you throw on
Yeah.
a nice suit and tie?
I do it all because I'm all of them. I'm the suit. I'm the Yankee. I'm the hoodie. Like this is, I feel like it's the black man. You know what I mean? It comes with multiple layers. You know, so I don't like when people try to judge the Yankee guy because then that's the guy that got kicked out. So I don't want to hide that guy, but don't look at me crazy when I got the suit on because. You remember proms? We did proms, 8th grade. Like we did the suits before too. Like so, it's like we could do it all. Like, and I think it's important to show all sides because if you got the poo shiesty on, the ski mask and all that all day, then it's even better when you throw the suit on because then they gonna look at you like, oh, yeah, I could throw. It's cold outside. I might throw the ski mask on, but don't judge me. Tomorrow I got the suit on. I'm going to church. Like we could. It don't matter, you know.
So you gotta have balance with it.
Definitely balance.
So when you show up in the classroom, how do the students treat you?
They ready to receive because they can understand like what is this. So now they just like, all right.
Cause you don't look like the regular. I'm sorry, you don't look like the regular teacher.
Nobody ever say that.
So, and you don't look like you've been doing this for 10 years. So when you walk into a classroom with the kids, is it easier for them to like listen to you because you look like them?
Especially the kids that hold the most weight in the class, which is normally that kid that was just like me, and that's the purpose of everything. Like that's what it all came down to. It's like the good kids is good. It don't matter if it's a robot in there; they gonna pass. It's the kids that's why most teachers can't, especially in the urban communities, can't get through the day process teaching because it's those kids in there that's just like that one or two can't even get through your aim because like by the time you like today students will be like, yo, shut up, miss, you it's over because you always gonna have, especially in New York City, you're gonna have those kids who like that was like me. Like they put me back into the class. I went to my father's funeral. In 2 weeks I was back in the classroom. What you thought I was going just be in there arms folded? Like
right.
The first dude that got picked up by his pops, I was just looking like, you soft. Right. And he like, what? And I don't even know why I said that to him. And now we arguing, and that's what it was. Like, I didn't know what I was dealing with. And there it goes. So now, fast forward, I know it's kids that's in the class that's imperfect. But I feel like I symbolize that. So now I hold them to a higher regard because it's like, I've been through that.
Do you get to them?
All the time. Like, they not even just get to them. Like, they start getting 80s and 90s in math. Because it's like, I show their parents sometimes what they're capable of when somebody just understands. Because even when they had their moments, I'm not in a rush to kick them out like they did me. A lot of those getting kicked out or expelled, it wasn't necessary. It was people's egos that was hurt by a 12-year-old. You know what I mean? That's all it was. So you just trying to prove. Like, I remember a principal, like, I got it, I'm going to talk to him. And I'm like, yo, get out my face. Now he like, yeah, you get him out of here. It wasn't like no real, like, I was a threat. It was just people's egos was hurt behind that. And it does happen. It happened to me before. It's kids that talk crazy. But I'm just like, are you finished? Look,
Right.
now, look, calm down. I ain't worried about that. Look. Da-da-da-da-da. And they even looking at me like, I thought that was going to be the. I'm like, yeah, you thought that was going to be the power punch. Nah, that's like, I don't care that you curse, and I'm not telling on you.
Mm.
I ain't nobody even got to know you cursed me out. Look,
Wow.
just apologize. Let's get back into class and let's do what we got to do. Because I know
Right.
you probably upset, embarrassed. I called you out while people was looking. I get it. You know what I mean? You want to hold your own. You got it. You tough. You tough guy. Man, I'm going to throw a joke in there. Like, who is this? Same thing. Who is this guy?
Uh-huh.
And there you go.
So now 10 years in the game as a teacher. Is that where you see yourself forever?
I think teaching is like, through teaching, I met like Broadway actors.
Mm.
I've met retired law firm people.
Wow.
So I feel like this the one career where, you know what I mean, you can still, do things on the entrepreneur side. I've met a lot of real estate people that teach. Like they literally be teaching art and then like owning properties.
Wow.
So it's like this is a field where
Flexible.
you definitely could be flexible. So I mean, I see myself doing a lot of things, writing books, of course, doing music. I love writing music.
Oh, you do music?
Come on. Make sure you listen to all the joints we got together, man.
We're gonna have to talk about music too in a little bit. But so okay, so it's flexible. So you see yourself teaching and still, doing other stuff as well, just venturing out. I think that's super dope. Do you think that teaching is the same than it was 10 years ago or 5 years ago? Is it the same or is it changing? What's the evolution of teaching right now?
It's the same and changing.
Okay.
The same because I feel like we still getting the same subjects, the math, science, ELA, social studies. Most schools still gonna have that same basic structure. I mean, most schools, the classes are still the same. Desks, gotta raise your hand. So there's certain things that haven't changed, but there's a lot of innovative schools out there now. You know what I mean? Like depending on the school you go to, you might see a whole different type of school, like artwork in the schools. Certain schools have different curriculums. They do value the entertainment and the arts. It depends on what school you go to now, because there's a lot of different things that's going on in the schools right now.
Is there any schools that you see that's really dope?
Yeah, I mean, I got to give a shout out to Farrah's Academy, man. Like, that's a school, in the Bronx. They are doing their thing. It's a studio in the school, recording studio, podcast studio. And
In the school?
inside the school. The school is covered in artwork, motivational quotes.
Wow.
And it definitely emphasize strong teachers,
Yeah.
Like they definitely get behind strong teachers and just make sure that, the kids are getting the best quality when it comes to education. And I think, Ron Clark Academy in Atlanta,
Okay.
that's another school. Like them kids is taking the sliding boards to class and all that. Like it's going down out
It's
here,
going crazy,
So
man.
there's a lot of schools. I forgot it's another school in the Bronx named after a basketball player, and they teach like the basketball. That's a core class.
Wow.
So if you need good schools, like they are there. You just got to go look for them.
Is education just a school thing?
Nope.
Talk to me about that.
I feel like education, and I got this in my book upcoming. Education is a balance between K through 12, your parents' history, your ancestry, what you learn from your environment, and then knowing yourself.
Hold up. That was too deep. We have to go
It's a
through
gumbo
that real
pot.
quick. So wait, bullet point that for me real quick.
Now we're gonna go K through 12.
Okay, K through 12. We know about K through 12 already.
You know what I mean? That's the basics. And then your parents' history.
Talk to me about that. Why?
Just knowing what your mother did, what your father did, what they like to do. That's educational to yourself.
Why?
Because it's like just knowing that my father danced and played and made music, and his father sung and loved music. I could have started doing music at 7 versus 18 because it was always there.
Wow.
I just didn't fully understand, the history. Same thing with my mom. My mom was a dancer. She loved dancing and she loved writing books, and she was a teacher, and she always, did good with writing lesson plans.
That sounds
It's the
like
whole
you.
thing. So, like that's why we can't hide this knowledge no more. You know what I mean? Like we don't got the big chains on. We ain't doing all that. But it's a lot of power that's within, especially knowing it. So I realized that too. And then knowledge itself.
Hold on. I want to go back to parents, family dynamic. How do we encourage somebody to get into that? Like, do we tell them look for a family member? Do we go online? Like, how do we learn more about our family and our roots?
Communication. I think I did this to my mother too when I got like 13, 14. Just trying like my best to get away from, just sitting down at the table still and asking questions. What you like? Like our parents always ask us, how was our day? But very rarely do a kid ask you back, like, how was your day? Do you enjoy what you're doing on a daily basis?
Ooh.
But I don't know. That's a question I would ask you too. Like, are kids even ready for that? Like, can we expect them to dig into their roots and their family history and make a decision in high school based on that? Like, are they really ready for that?
Yeah, I think we have to teach them. As parents, we have to initiate it first so that they can now know that it's normal. We have to normalize it. That's the way that they began to start doing it to us. So for example, if my children come to me now and I'll be like, how was your day? I'm gonna say, you could ask me how was my day
Oh,
too,
yeah,
and let's
right,
have a
right.
conversation about it. Right? As parents, I think that we have to teach our kids how to do certain things for us and to us. You know what I mean? Like the same way that we love our children, we got to teach our children how to love us. We got to teach our children. We got to be transparent. I'm not talking about airing it all out, but really having that conversation with them and being like, "Yo, this is our history. This is what we've been through. This is your grandfather. This is your great grandfather. This is your person." But a lot of times we don't know the information ourselves.
That's true.
So it's hard for us to teach if we don't know, because if our elders is not giving it to us, then it's hard for us to pour it into them.
And you got to go seek it.
So I think that it's important for us, if we do have people around us, or if you have people around you, you take the initiative to go seek out for that help. You know what I mean? To see what your history is about, so that somebody could be able to, pour it into you. Because sometimes I feel like our elders don't just want to give out the information.
That's
and
true.
it's not because they don't want to. It's just because nobody ever asked them.
Yeah, you know what? Rest in peace to my grandmother. She did tell me something. She was like, "You make it your business to come over here and like talk to me." And I know you ain't got nothing going on. We ain't like you because you just coming in here and like, "Oh, so grandma, how you elegant?" So I could tell, but you older now, and the fact that you coming over here is a lot. And like every time my family get together, on my mother's side, I'm the only one that could play her most recent prayer before she passed. Because I was just, coming over there so often. But I say this to say, like, my mother growing up, she would take me to different family members' houses. And I think that was the start of me not, being a type of person who can mix with multiple people. Like, she'd take me to your house. That's how we got this bond. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She'd take me to Poppy. She'd take me to my grandmother. She'd take me to my father's mother. Like, all these different places. And, like, I would stay there and, like, I get to know my family.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the love of learning also came to me, too. In a different way, like, loving to learn about my different members. Because every member, if I could write a book about me as a child, it'd be, like, painting all these pictures from different stories.
Wow.
Like, every home I went to was something different going on. You know what I mean?
lit.
Different food, different slang, different movies that they watch. And I was just like, oh, by the time I got home, I was like, okay. Like, everybody's doing it different. Like, you told me how to make burgers. I didn't know at that age I could make my own burgers. You know what I mean? I took something from that. Like, the adobo, like, that was the start. Now, my family love my burgers. So, thank you.
That's fire, man. So we got family, education. You got K through 12, which is the system. And then you said knowledge.
Knowledge
learning.
itself.
So talk to me about that.
So knowledge itself to me is more like, like depending on who you are, your race. Like, I'm a black man. And when I say a black man, it's like I know my roots come from Africa, but growing up, I think it's a difference between like the people who could go to their grandmother's house in Africa and the people who just like, I know my ancestry say I'm African, but my grandma's from Harlem, my pops mom's from Brooklyn, so we don't have the African, ties. So that's what I say the black man is. And when I say knowledge itself, is like I would struggle. Well, we went, not just me, everybody who say I'm a black man, what they went through. You know what I mean? And that's what knowledge itself is to me. Just like studying who you are. Like whether, no matter if you're a Chinese man, like studying what all Chinese men from history went through. What's the pride? What's the joy? What what we always was into, who our leaders, like for us at Malcolm X, today is Martin Luther King Day, like these are, influential black men. So knowledge itself too. So now that's 3.
Yeah.
Your family, the K through 12, now knowledge itself. You could tell we on to something now.
All right.
And
So, dang, because I used to think education was just going to school, 8 hours, coming home, eating, taking a shower, doing it all over again. I didn't know that there was so many other elements to education. So I definitely believe that that's a true gem. And you said you got a book coming out, so
Yeah,
it's
and
coming.
this is the last one I'm gonna say. The environment, people sleep on that,
Okay.
but I feel like for me, you got me telling my story basically, and it's always dope because I'm reflecting, and I'm like, that's something too, like understanding my environment. Like I'm from Harlem, like everybody got different areas. You got East New York, Bushwick, Flatbush, but that's a part of your education too, because you learn a lot just from your environment. Like now that's where all of the dudes that's going to jail, the Bloods, the Crips, so now you add that into you. Now I know about all that too. So all four now is over.
Whew.
That's it.
So as far as environment, we know that your environment didn't make you, but in regards to environment, like, do you think that environment shape people?
Definitely. I think environment is taking half of people out, especially the youth. Like taking them right out. Like just one. Like let's say for an example, I talked to one of the youth I mentor, 13 years old, and where he from. Right now in the moment, everybody look like how he look. Jacket, Pooh Shiesty, Scully on, and then you got Hennessy got me bad. When they be like on the radio drill going crazy. So for him, he's only in that. And that's what I'm saying. You're not tapping into the other. You only tapping into your environment education right now. So that's why you just thinking that this is what I gotta do. I gotta get on. I gotta rap. I gotta like make sure I'm tough, make sure I'm wild. But it's like it's okay. You could take all that in, but you neglecting family history. Like you probably had a father who thought the same thing when he was young. Like I gotta beat him. You know what I mean? Rakim is out, Dougie Fresh and them is out. I gotta make sure I got the rope chain, and you just repeating because you just in that one aspect of education. So it's like you can take that, but it definitely ruins a lot of people. And I think right now for the youth, it's like they just all into that. People killing, people going to jail, people getting felonies before they can even get the other sides of education.
Wow.
And that happens too a lot in prison. Like you be older and now you're like, damn, now you got the Bible. Now you got the we ain't even get to that. That's another form of education. But it's like it took you a minute and now you seeing all the other aspects and you're like, oh, I was just stuck into my environment. Like, man, you ain't even go to Jamaica yet. And,
Dang.
you know what I mean? So
Yo, it's like so many elements of education, man. This is, and would you say you
teaching full effect.
you used all these elements throughout your life, or you still using some more?
I'm still this is, man, we still in the heart of the journey, man. Like I would love to watch this episode 20 years from now and be like, damn, we probably still look back like, yo, we was sharp.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's like that's what I feel like when we talking to Grandpa, 71, right?
Ooh.
So this is what we know at 32. Oh wow.
My goodness.
But imagine if now, even with podcasts like this, if the youth listen, you could be 13 and already. So imagine, whoa, you 13 and you on it? Oh, you mean to tell me if God let you live to 70 and you 13 and you already awake?
It's over.
You out of here.
It's
You
over.
could fail 4 million. Like you could get 1 million probably 1,000 times. Like
Yo,
simple. Just follow, chill out.
crazy. So you also talked about music, and I just want to touch on it a little bit. So throughout this journey, where does music come in?
Oh man, it's crazy because this is like one of the first podcasts where I got into the story more than the music. Like most other podcasts, you'll hear me talking about my, beat selection and things like that. But this is the first one that's only out there where I'm letting them know all the other parts and layers. But music has always been, hip hop is king in New York City.
Yeah.
So no matter what, you party, people riding by, like you are hearing beats and rhymes. It's no way around it, But in high school is where I started to feel like, yo, I need to make me a song. You know what I mean?
Was it because everybody else was doing it, or was it because you just said I want to do it?
So really, in ninth grade, I wrote a poem, and the poem was called "This Is the Ghetto." And then I still remember it was babies crying, bullets flying. This is the ghetto, and I was writing it, and my ELA teacher, she was like, "You got an artistic way of telling the story,"
Crazy.
and she was like, "Even from your essays, like I read your essays, just the first poem, I knew your poem was gonna be the best, just from reading your essays. It's like I could see what you're saying, through your, just writing. So from there, I kept it in my head, but I always had this in the back of my mind, like, yo, I need to do something else because rap is too regular. You know what I mean? Because growing up, everybody used to tell me that, like, you better know your schoolwork like you know them raps, like my mom's, all of them. So I play with music all the time, but it was always like being the person that could know every album from front to back, and I could spit it like 50, Eminem, Jada Kid, anybody, I could spit it just like them. So that's why they always bother me about knowing your schoolwork, like you know the music. So I always thought like I gotta get into something else. Like music is probably not gonna be the way to make it, especially as a young black man. So
You
I
still
never
feel
took it
that way
serious.
right now?
Damn. Now that's hard, cause it's like I don't even know when it comes to music now, like what it is. You know, before we just thought it was nice, the beat was good, video's good, like you out of here. You know what I mean? So when my first video I ever put out there is my second year teaching, and I'm like I'm out of here. Yo, I come from the hood. I graduated college. I'm
Yeah.
teaching, and I'm in Coney Island. Like you can see the Wonder Wheel from the class. I'm like, this is
It's
epic.
over.
Principal stamped it. The parents okayed it. I'm like, I'm out of here. The video man is ready. You shot it. I ain't gonna lie, it did go viral. Like I never, back then I didn't know too much about views and all that, but it shot up to like 13,000 views. All the professors was playing it. Every day I was coming to school, all the kids was playing it. Like what viral feels like, I felt that feeling. You know what I mean? Everywhere I went, like yo, Showtime, so. You know what I mean? And I put the mixtape out to follow up, and that was the start of my journey. But it didn't. It didn't take me. You know, I ain't get no record deals, or nobody called me. Like, it just started the journey. Like now, people wanted to see me keep going, and now from there to now, people still want the next thing, and that's like almost 7 years now since that video, and I haven't stopped. There's no gaps. Now you go on my YouTube right now, 2016. 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. No gaps.
So, what's your goal for music now? I mean, it feels like you got.
I gotta make it to the top, baby.
What does it? What does the top mean?
So the whole world know my name, man. Everywhere. That's
How about
it.
if they knew your name as Mr. Nealy? Would you accept that?
I take that too. Like right now, working with you, working with other people, we trying to get the me as far as a motivational speaker and, speaking to schools, because I feel like I do have, like I gave y'all a little bit on the podcast, but I do have a secret sauce of winning in the classroom that I'm ready to give out now. I was keeping it in for a minute,
Okay.
but after all these state tests after state tests, the kids are doing amazing, the data is doing amazing. Like 1 year I had a 92% rate.
That's amazing. Man.
That's like 3s and 4s.
That's not happening. I don't really see that happening in schools. That's really amazing.
And that's, so yeah.
Wow. So you got music, teaching, you creative, you driven, you passionate. Like you have so many different things. So one of the last questions that I want to ask you is, what is your purpose?
My purpose, I feel like it's going to change, so it's good to even ask questions like this, because you probably could ask the same people that you have as a guest 20 years from now, and it'd probably be different, but right now I feel like my purpose is to get my story out, because my story is not, it's not like a, something personal about me. What I went through is like, it's a story that could, I feel like, have a huge impact on education. So I think that's my purpose right now. Like, whether it's music, books, motivational speaking, podcasts, like, now is the time for me to just get the story out there so you can help change some other, people that's going through similar situations that don't think that they could go this far. So,
Yo, I can't wait to get the book. Is there anything that you have out right now that you want to talk to the people about?
Showtime 212 on Instagram first, because that's just like where I just drop a lot of dope content. Whether it's podcasts, music, quotes, little images of my story. A lot of great things that happens on there. If I'm doing shows or whatever, you can tap in on there. And then my YouTube channel, Ramel Showtime, that's where, the documentaries, the podcast, everything that's happening, exciting with me on a creative journey is really happening on YouTube. And then Apple Music, Spotify, like Ramel Showtime, and then just go crazy. Like it's like Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3, Volume 4, Volume 5. Like I feel like if you really want to tap into me for real, once you click one thing, there's like 70 other to follow. So like that's all facts. Like we really want to tap in, have fun.
Wow. Listen, bro, you have educated us, man.
Thank you.
You taught me some stuff that I didn't know. I'm about to go talk to Poppy a little bit more about our history because I need to be educated even more.
Yeah, we're gonna keep it going.
Truly appreciate you. This is not gonna be the first time. I already know it.
We gonna go.
This is we just like scratching the surface right now. I just want to tell you that you are inspiration to me, and I know you're inspiration to others. Just seeing us do this from 7, 8 years old to now,
Crazy.
in our 30s, and we continue to elevate, and we're doing it the right way. And I think that a lot of people will appreciate that. So I appreciate you. I want to give you your flowers now. And before we close out, I need you to say something motivational to the people.
I feel like trust the process, trust the journey, and fall in love with the journey. I know a lot of people say that, but I feel like there was so many times where I thought it was over. And I'm like, every time I thought it was over, it was literally like the stepping stone to get to the next part. And the story just makes it, better and better. So like, you just painting a picture, blank canvas, and your story and the things you go through is all your art. Use it as a stepping stone, learn from it, learn from others, and just keep learning, man. Life is about loving to learn.
Well, can't close it out any better than that. I always say this on every podcast. If you truly understand and apply God's purpose into your life, you will experience true fulfillment. So let's just pray real quick. Father God, I just want to thank you. Thank you for this podcast. Thank you for this light that you have brought on our platform today. I pray that you continue to bless him, strengthen him, allow him to push out every gift, every talent, everything that he has inside of him. Don't allow him to leave this earth filled, but leave this earth empty. I thank you for all that you're doing. I pray that you continue to bless him, keep his family, be there for him, and you continue to educate us so that we can educate others. We love you and we thank you. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
I learned that I ain't perfect, but God gave me a purpose. I'm worthy.